Jonathan is with us in San Diego. Hi, Jonathan. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Good, man. What's up?
Yeah, so I have about $45,000 worth of debt. Now, I'm not particularly concerned with it as of right now. That debt is accrued from student loans as I went to college and got a master's degree in chemical engineering. But I've been having significant trouble finding work, not because I don't interview well or anything like that. In fact, I've had about half a dozen offers over the last year that ended up getting rescinded because every time the company gives me an offer and then they go through a background check, they find some charges in my background report that basically, they end up rescinding the offer as a result.
So you got criminal charges?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For what?
There are charges that stem from a domestic violence incident. They're all misdemeanor charges, granted, but this incident occurred like 2.5 years ago after finding out that my ex-girlfriend or girlfriend at the time was unfaithful.
Okay. All right. And how long ago was that?
About 2.5 years. My probation ends actually in December in a few months.
Okay.
Well, I want to encourage on something. This is not surprising, but I'm actually sharing an article this week on the Ken Coleman Show about how more and more companies, especially right now, with the lack of employees available, with 10.4 million jobs available and 8.3 million people unemployed, they are open to hiring people with a criminal background. Now, I'm going to tell you that it's not necessarily going to be easy, but this is becoming more and more of a thing. And I think that, number one, you're going to have to take this by the horns, this bull by the horns. And so no longer when you go forward are you waiting for a company to do the research and find out about it. This is where
that's what's killing you.
Yeah, you've got to tell them on the up front when the interviews get good, and I would, they're calling you back and you starting to make some headway. I would explain it. I would also go another step further. If you have yet to get some counseling, I would do that, and I would have a good counselor really, pour into you and also vouch for you that not only have you paid your your crime, your time on these misdemeanor charges, but that you're going the extra step to dealing with the anger issues that came from some obvious pain. I think if you own this, I think you can overcome this. In fact, no, I know you can. And I'm going to give you one other piece of very practical advice. As you're going for these jobs in the future, and you may have already done this, but make absolutely sure that you are having people that know you well and can vouch for you that are taking you to these companies to say, hey, this is a really great guy, this is a really great candidate, and he's overcome some challenges in the past, but I can vouch for the character and the quality of this human being. I think if you put all that together and you own this on the up front, you got a much better chance.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's what's killing you here. You've got to come out early in the process. As soon as they start nibbling on the hook, you got to tell them what's going on. And just all you have to do, Jonathan, is just think about what if you were hiring, under what circumstances would you hire a guy that had that record? If you thought he was past it, if you thought it was a one-time thing, if you thought it's never going to happen again, he's been seeing a counselor, it's in his past, everybody is screwed up one time or another in their life. But if they don't think that you're past it, and they think, I'm going to have a guy in a Me Too world that's going to hit a girl, nobody wants that on their payroll. You wouldn't want it on your payroll, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta weave a truthful story, a truthful narrative here that says, okay, now here's what you're going to find. You're going to find 18 months ago, and here's what happened, and here's what I've done since then. And I'm perfectly clean. The probation's almost complete. Been seeing a coach and a counselor. Here's what she says. Here's a letter from them, and this is what you're going to find. If this makes it a no, the fact that those charges are back there are going to kill the deal, we might as well kill it now because I want you to know now. And if you tell us that at Ramsey, I'm a lot more concerned with what you're going to do in the future than I am what happened to you in the past. Because I hadn't met anybody that has an unblemished past. The only thing I'm worried about is, are you going to be defined by that? And is this going to be a continued pattern? And then I've got to deal with it as your employer because you're going to embarrass us by being in the news the next time that comes along, and I don't want you on the payroll. And plus, I don't want to. I don't want to employ someone that's going to be doing that kind of stuff. And you don't either, Jonathan, do you?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I actually wanted to say the reason mainly why I'm calling now and not after the first time this happened is this most recent offer that was rescinded was at a company where I actually had two people there vouching for me, and it's incredibly discouraging that
well, that's depressing, and that's a gut punch.
Yeah. Did they tell them though, and when they vouched for you, did they also tell them that you had some misdemeanors in your background?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you something.
You did all you could do.
Reality.
You did all you could do.
But you don't quit. Somebody's going to give you
a
shot.
You are not defined by the worst thing that you ever did.
Yeah.
None of us are. Hey, man, I filed bankruptcy. Now I give all of America financial advice. Go figure that one out. I mean, really? How absurd.
Yeah.
But the difference is that I learned from it. I've never been there again, and that makes me trustworthy. And the fact that I felt the pain of real life makes me trustworthy, because I can relate to people who are hurting, which is like everybody. Or everybody has at one time or another, because most everybody's done something stupid, right? So, you got one of your stupid things out while you were young, and it's in your past. Most of us that are old have often commented that if Twitter and Instagram had been around when we were in college, none of us would be employable. Because there would be photographic, digital evidence of our behaviors. So, yeah. Can you imagine when streaking was popular in the 70s?
Yeah. Just the stuff we did to our friends that we thought was funny would be considered criminal level bullying, and we were just being idiots and making each other laugh. I mean, goodness gracious.
Probably a lot of everything. But yeah, not making light of or minimizing what you got convicted of. That's not a good thing, and we're not endorsing that. But we are trying to give some grace so that you can give yourself some grace, because you've already run into a lot of places that aren't going to give you grace.
Yeah.
And so grace is, I'm not defined by my past.
Yeah.
I'm not defined by my past. I get to make new decisions starting today, ready, set, go. I get to be a new kind of man, a new kind of woman starting today, ready, set, go. And so if that's you, dude, you got our endorsement, and I think you'll get a job. But don't wait till they get far down into the interview process, because then they feel tricked.
Yep.
They feel like you're trying to slide one in on them, and that doubles down then, because you got deception and a criminal record is the way it feels from the employer's viewpoint. That's how I would feel if Ramsey were interviewing you, and then we get, hey, this guy's really talented, but we got way down into it before he brought this up.
And one other encouragement. I don't know what your work situation is now. We didn't get into it, but I would stay active. Even though you're going for this over here, if it's got to work 2-3 jobs, don't let yourself fall into this I don't matter anymore and I'm a stain. That would be really discouraging.
Absolutely.
Keep staying with it. Do something until it pops.
Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep your feet moving. Keep your feet moving. You're going to be all right, brother.
Yeah.